with New Mercies for Moms, and I want to thank you guys for joining us live today. I want to talk to you about a couple of verses, but first of all, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for following along with our journey. We have just recently reached 200 followers on Instagram, and we're almost to 500 followers on Facebook. So I just want to ask that you guys would come and follow along with us and invite your other friends that are moms to join our journey for New Mercies for Moms. I'm going to jump right in, and we're going to be in Psalm 139, verses 13 and 14. That's what our devotional is about this week. So if you haven't seen that, go to our website, newmerciesformoms.com, and it'll be one of the first things that pops up. And you can also download a lock screen. But let me read it for you. Psalm 139, verses 13 and 14 says, "For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well." And I wanted to talk to you guys about those verses because it's something that has really impacted me in the past few months. I have a little one at home. She is just over a year old, and my son Eli is in kindergarten, which is crazy. But when I read these verses in Psalm 139, it's so easy for me to just sit there and rock them to sleep, or even when I was nursing, to think about these verses in terms of how wonderfully God had created my children. And it's just one of those moments of worship for me to sit there and just say, I had a small part in this, but it's obvious that God did something amazing in creating my kids. And I was convicted this year of the fact that it's so easy for me to sit there and think about those verses and thank God for how He created my kids. But for some reason, it's just a lot harder for me to believe those things about my own life. It says, "You formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb." And for some reason, that's a lot harder for me to believe about myself. And I've been thinking about that. Why do I struggle to believe the very thing that I intimately know is true when it comes to my kids? And I think it's for a couple of reasons. I think it's hard. I think that the enemy wants me to believe that I'm faulty and that I'm not worthy. And so if he can get me to believe that I am not fearfully and wonderfully made, then he's got me. He's got me believing that God is not who He says He is. So the other thing is, I think social media plays a really big role in that. It's almost impossible to get on social media and not compare yourself. We are wired to see things visually, and we almost can't help ourselves. And so we get on there, and I can look at whatever friend it is and whatever awesome thing they're doing, or however that person looks, whether they've lost weight or they got their hair done or whatever it is. It's just easy for me to compare myself to that. And it's not something that I just sit there and think, I'm doing this. I just realize it after the fact. It's that icky feeling of discontentment that happens after I'm on social media. And when I really think about it, it's because of comparison. So why is it so hard to believe those things about myself? Two things I just mentioned. I think it's the enemy wants us there. And the second thing is that I think the comparison is just so hard not to do. I want to skip down to verses 23 and 24 in Psalm 139. They say, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there is any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." You guys, I would be one of the first people to tell you that I want God to lead me. I ask Him to do that all the time. I ask Him to search me and know my heart. I want to grow closer to God. But I think there's a direct correlation between being willing to follow Him and follow His leadership, and then believing that He created me wonderfully and perfectly. If I don't believe these things about the person that created me, that He created me wonderfully and perfectly, how am I supposed to believe that God is the one that's going to lead me best, that he's going to lead me in the way everlasting? There's a disconnect there because, well, there's a connect because I think they're connected, but the disconnect is that God created me wonderfully and perfectly, and I want to follow him, but I don't believe that necessarily about myself. And it could be in the way that I see my, just the way that I look on video or in a photo. It could also be just the way that I feel like I'm inadequate to be a great mom, or to be a good friend, to be a good family member, to love people well. I see the places where I'm inadequate and not perfect, and those are the places where I feel like this plays into it, where I'm not believing that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I do believe that I am a sinful person, but God created me to be who I am, and the good things about me, he created those things. And so I think he wants me to take those things and use how he's created me to honor him and to let him lead me, until he'll lead me the best way. So I want to leave you guys with 2 practical things that you can do. I don't know if any of you struggle with this as well. It might be my own insecurities, but I feel like I'm not the only one. So I want you to practice 2 things. One of them, my friend Brenda, who lives in Spearfish, where we used to live, she used to tell this to college girls, and I'm going to put a little bit different spin on it, but she would have them sit in front of a mirror and look at themselves and just talk to the mirror and say, you are beautiful, and you are kind, and all of the different things that they could think of. And it was just really difficult. And as she told me that she would encourage college girls to do that, it really made me, thanks, Terry. It's good to know that I'm not the only one that struggles. But as I would think about actually sitting in front of a mirror and saying those, have you ever tried it? Go sit in front of your mirror and say those things. But the twist that I would put on it is to go sit in front of a mirror today or this week and just look at yourself and thank God for who you are. Thank him for, Terry, thank him for your blonde hair. Thank him for just the ability to raise your boys. Thank him for just the ability to write. And I'm talking about you, Terry, but for me, it's looking in the mirror and thanking God for the smile that he gave me and the blue eyes that came from my dad, and just all of the good things about us. Just look at those and thank God for them. And the second thing that I would tell you, and this is one that I really struggle with, is to accept compliments. Accept compliments and give them. I went and got my hair done yesterday, and I pulled it back because I'll play with it while I'm talking to you guys. But I walked in and I had really messy hair and it was up in a bun, and my friend Laura is like, your hair looks so cute in a bun. And I immediately started telling her how terrible it was. My hair looks terrible. I didn't fix it when I got up this morning. I knew I was coming here. I need you to help me. And the list went on, and she looked at me, and she's a good friend of mine, and she said, Jill, just accept the compliment. You look cute. And I kind of laughed it off and told her, okay, I accept it. Thank you. But I don't think it looks cute. Anyways, that's a little thing, but have you ever just gotten a compliment from someone and tried to shrug it off as like, that's not true, or to act like it wasn't that big of a deal? Well, take those compliments and accept them and let them change how you think about yourself. The other thing is that when you see someone, when you're able to give someone a compliment, you never know how God is going to use that in their life to put wind in their sails, or to help them understand something that they need to believe about God. So your compliment and encouragement could be God's way of speaking through you and telling that person something that they need to know about themselves. Terry says that her mom always says that compliments are verbal gifts receive them the way you receive a tangible gift and say thank you. That is so good. So you guys receive those gifts, those compliments that people give you, and be willing to give them. Step out of your comfort zone and say something nice to either someone in your family or one of your kids. Call out one of the awesome things that you think God created in your kids or to your husband. Just encourage each other and build each other up. That's what it says to do in Scripture. So thank you guys for joining along. If you haven't, found our Etsy page yet, we have an Etsy page. You can find it on newmerciesformoms.com. It's actually got all of our products, but we have some really awesome verses for sale. And there's a verse on the front. It's a 5x7 print that you can frame. But also on the back of it, it's got a devotional that you can read throughout the week, and you can just place those things around your house to help you, as you're going, follow God. I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks for letting me share with you. I'll see you soon.